Hello and welcome to the annual Alexander L. Paskay Bankruptcy Dinner, held to commemorate Judge Alexander L. Paskay, known nationwide as a pioneer in the bankruptcy field. Stay tuned for interviews with illustrious guests such as Judge Delano, our local bankruptcy judge, and Diane Jensen, local Chapter 7 trustee. Enjoy your evening. Well, you're the outgoing president of the Bankruptcy Association. Do you have any parting words?
Yes, I'm ready to go. Turn it over to a younger guy with more resources, and he's got a bigger staff than I do, and he's got some great ideas, so I think I'm turning it over to a good guy, David Feynman.
What are some of the highlights of being the president of the Bankruptcy Association for the past year?
I'm going to cover them tonight, but some of the things that we did is we kept the CLE credits coming. We've got 10 of them. We've got the website. We're using the website exclusively now to send things out. We send out messages to people and they have to go to the website to see it. Case law, CLE credits, and hopefully video. That's the next step, is to get the video.
Big stride with the video this last year.
Oh, that was a good thing. Oh, we have a great videographer, and his assistant is gorgeous, by the way. So, and it's worked out really good. It really has. And doing it tonight, thank you very much. It's been a big plus for our group. I just heard Judge Ginneman say that we're one of the most active bars in Florida. That's really nice to hear. So hopefully we can keep it up, keep the volume of participation up. The same people participate over and over and over again, but it's working. So y'all just keep doing it, guys. You're doing a great job.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Vaughn. Thank you on behalf of the Bar Association for covering everyone's hearings. We know that you're retiring this year. Do you have any parting words for everybody?
No, I didn't want to retire. My wife made me. I said it before. It was more of a pleasure to cover for everyone. And to everyone, I thank very, very much. I really mean that. It was an honor.
Well, thank you very much. And you did a great job for everybody for so many years. So thanks a lot. Hi, Mr. Feynman. I understand you're the incoming president of the Bankruptcy Bar Association. Welcome, and would you like to tell us a little bit about your background?
Well, I'm from Punta Gorda, Florida. I graduated from Barry University in 2007, School of Law, and have been practicing bankruptcy since I passed the bar in September 2007. Oh, I started at a law firm in Punta Gorda. They wanted to develop a bankruptcy practice given the economic times, and did not have one, and forced me to learn it from the ground up.
And what do you're now the incoming president. What are some of the things on your agenda?
This year I want to keep the ball rolling on what Bob had started in his last term. I want to streamline some of the steps that we do in developing our meetings, make it a little more organized so that everyone knows what's going on. We just developed a website, so I want to make sure that's being used, and other tools that can just bring the bar together and grow, and maybe get more in touch with the Tampa bar and do some things like that.
All right, we'd like to hear a few words from the bankruptcy judge. So could you tell us a little bit about your background?
Oh my. All right. Well, I was born a very long time ago. Attended law school at Indiana University in Emory. Went to California, practiced bankruptcy for 14 years. Moved back to my hometown of Tampa almost 20 years ago now. Practiced for 14 going on 15 years and was appointed to the bench 5 years ago. So, I was a trailing spouse. My husband my then boyfriend got a nice promotion, and so we moved to Indianapolis where I went to law school. Then he got another promotion, so we moved to Atlanta. Then I passed the Georgia bar. He got another promotion. We moved to California. And then finally, we came back to Tampa, which is where our home is, and we're delighted to be back. And I have to say, I have to put in a pitch for Fort Myers. I've been responsible for the Fort Myers caseload now for a little bit over a year. Really enjoy coming down here. Very professional attorneys, very professional bar, very interesting cases. So I come down here live once a month for 3 or 4 days, do other hearings by video. Just a great town, great place to practice law, I'm sure, and a great place to be a judge.
And what makes you get into bankruptcy?
You know, like many lawyers, it all depends upon where you find that first job. I went to law school. I really planned to do trust and estates, never planned to step foot in a courtroom. And then I was looking for a job in California, looking for a job, found a job with a firm that did bankruptcy work, and the next thing you knew, I was a bankruptcy lawyer.
And what made you want to become a judge?
Well, you know, I was always interested in going on the bench, in the bankruptcy bench specifically, not state court, not the federal bench, just not the federal district court bench, just bankruptcy bench. And part of that had to do with I would sit in the courtroom and I would listen to attorneys arguing their cases, different cases, not my cases, and I always had an opinion as to how the judge should rule. And I realized I wanted to get the right answer. I always had an opinion on what the right answer was. When you're advocating for a client, that's your job to advocate, and I enjoyed advocating for clients, and I miss advocating for clients. But there's something to be said for just coming up with the right answer. So I really enjoy the role of a bankruptcy judge.
I think that an attorney should know when practicing in front of you in your courtroom.
Okay, I will take a tip from Judge Glenn, which is be prepared, know your case. That's number one. Number two, if you're in a trial, have your exhibits prepared and know what exhibits you're going to use with which witness, and figure out how you're going to get your exhibits admitted into evidence. And number three, and this came up a couple of times in this week's calendar, from time to time, because I see the very serious consequence to a debtor, perhaps losing a home, I will give the debtor the benefit of the doubt and schedule a hearing for the debtor to establish that the debtor is able to propose, let's say, a Chapter 13 plan or a Chapter 11 plan. The attorney needs to come to that continued hearing and show that my confidence was not misplaced.
Right.
So I'll give the debtor that chance, but the debtor's got to persuade me, has got to show that, you know, on the balance of the evidence, that the debtor is going to be able to confirm a Chapter 13 plan or confirm a Chapter 11 plan. And I'm really disappointed when, from my perspective, I've sort of gone out on a limb and given the debtor an opportunity, and I know what it is I need to see in order to be able to find that the debtor is going to be able to confirm a plan. I need to see the debtor's income, I need to see the debtor's expenses, I need to see the debtor's Chapter 13 plan or Chapter 11 plan. And if the attorneys don't come to me with that information, I can't make the factual findings that I need to make. And then I feel like, wow, maybe I just should have dismissed the case or lifted the stay a month earlier because I gave the debtor an opportunity and the debtor didn't take advantage of it. I'd like to congratulate David Feinman upon his election to the presidency of the Southwest Florida Bankruptcy Bar Association. It is a fine group of lawyers, a very fine group of lawyers. I think the one thing that the bar could focus on is outreach to some of the attorneys who perhaps don't appear here as often as other attorneys do, because the attorneys that appear before the bankruptcy court regularly, they know the law, they know what evidence they need to provide to the court. But there's some judges that, there's some attorneys that perhaps aren't as experienced and don't really know that. It puts the attorneys in a difficult spot because why do they want to train their competition? But it's very difficult when as a judge, I see an attorney who doesn't know what that attorney should do or what the elements of that case are. And I think that CLE programs that are directed to some of the less experienced lawyers, and I say that, very tactfully, because some of these attorneys may not know that they're less experienced, but I think reaching out to them would be very helpful and elevate the practice of law.
Hi, Ms. Jensen. How are you? We have a few questions that we'd like to ask you.
Happy to.
First of all, what is your background?
My background, I've been an attorney since 1972, and I've been a trustee for the Middle District of Florida since 1979.
Okay. And I understand you used to represent debtors before.
I actually did. I represented debtors till 1985, and I did both Chapter 7s and did even a few Chapter 11s.
And what prompted the change, or representing creditors?
It became, in my opinion, more of a conflict for me to take consistent positions, because you take one position when you're representing a debtor and another position when you're representing a trustee, and I just found it difficult to make those positions consistent, and for me it just got difficult. Plus my debtor clients they're more difficult. Representing myself is a lot more fun. I listen to myself on occasion, and the debtor clients didn't always listen to what I recommended. So,
what's the biggest change you've seen in the bankruptcy field since you started to now?
Oh, the volume for one thing. I mean, when I started, and technology in general, when I started being a trustee, we had to type every check when we made a distribution to creditors. I mean, nothing mechanical. It could take us all day to cut checks to pay creditors in a Chapter 7 case. Plus the volume. I mean, when I started, maybe there were 300 cases a year in the Middle District and in the Fort Myers Division, and it was maybe a tenth of what I did. I mean, it got to be the point, at one point during both the recession and then when we had the flood again, I mean, I could be doing, they recommend 1,000 to 1,100 to 1,200 max cases a year. I had years I was doing 2,000 cases, and that's just hard to absorb, so it's much different. It was something I totally fell into although I did actually, have you ever heard of the Hornbook White and Summers? It's a UCC Secured Transactions National Hornbook. Professor White actually was one of my professors in law school. But when I had planned to do estate planning and probate and real estate, which is what I did when I started with my law firm. And one of my partners, Bill Shields, did do some bankruptcy, but we used to have to drive to Tampa for that. And there was no I-75 either. So we would take the back roads. It could take us 3 to 4 hours to get to Tampa for a hearing. And we would drive up with the debtors. And so Judge Paskay said, he would start coming. And so we started coming, and by virtue of his coming, then more people were willing to file cases in Fort Myers. And the volume started to increase. And so we went from what was probably 10% of what I did to what's probably 95% of what I do. I still do the occasional real estate or probate work from all the wills I did over the years, but I mean, it just took over.
And what's the worst thing you hate about being a bankruptcy trustee?
The worst thing I hate about being a bankruptcy trustee? Well, I feel bad for some of the people that I have to ask to pay back stuff. Believe it or not, I do actually. I know. I actually do. But the problem is we are trained to do certain things, and the problem is I can't make judgments based on who has the saddest story, because the truth of the matter is everybody has had some sad event that has precipitated their need to file bankruptcy, and I can't make distinctions based on, if their bankruptcy was from a divorce, which is tragic, an illness, which is tragic, a business failure, which is tragic, non-support from a spouse. I mean, there are so many sad things I see, but I can't, I feel sorry for the people I deal with, but unfortunately I'm not allowed to. I can't show that because as a practical matter, I can't do anything about it. I have to do my job. And
develop your keen ability to tell which debtors are lying. And that's amazing. You just zero in on them.
Hello, Judge. How did I think it's a matter of logic and looking at the papers that people give you. Sometimes it's instinct and the way they act. As Jeff Leisure said to me years ago, he tells his client to treat me as a traffic cop and not to give the trustee guff. If somebody gets nasty to me, you can rest assured I will look harder at their case, as you can imagine, instinct being that way. Plus, the fact is, I look through how much money's gone through their account. Obviously, it's usually the more affluent people who are more likely to have created the issues. But you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised how many cases that the attorneys haven't looked at the papers that they have given, that their clients have given. They just say, oh, send all those papers to the trustee, and they've never looked. And I've had cases where the debtors have listed $500 or $100 in a bank account. I've had cases they've had $15,000 in a bank account as a date of filing, and nobody's bothered to even look. So, I mean, and those are people who in theory are poor, so sometimes it's just stupidity on the part of the debtors, and sometimes you get little birds chirping in your ears from creditors. Ex-spouses, of course, are a good source of information, and sometimes it's just clues you see on the pleadings. So.
And now that the president of the bar of the Bankruptcy Association is changing, is there anything you're hoping will change in the upcoming year?
No, I think Bob did a wonderful job, and and Brian did a great job with creating the website. I think it's a really good. I think they've set some really good examples, and I'm sure that David will do a splendid job as well.
Thank you.
On the side of the mic, there's a little switch. Need an IT. Oh, there it is.
Good evening. Welcome to the annual Alexander L. Paskay Bankruptcy Bar Dinner. Thank you for coming, everybody. I checked with our unofficial, official historian, Diane Jensen, and I found out that the first dinner was in 1991 with Judge Paskay as the speaker, guest speaker. And I also found out that the associations took over the dinner in 2002, I think, on the 19th of September, 11 years ago tonight. That's pretty good. We had a good year. We had a disappointment. We couldn't name the building after Judge Paskay, but that's really the only disappointment we have. We were sorry about that, and I know Judge Paskay was really hoping we could pull that off. We did continue the CLE credits. We did manage to keep that going. Brian said he started that a couple of years ago when he was president, and we kept it going the entire time. And we did put together programs so that we have 10 CLE credits, and they are listed on the website. So the entire list, and we're going to be able to keep them on the list from now on. That worked out real good. And we're also videotaping the luncheons. So if you miss a luncheon and you want to see what we say, there's a lot of information that's being disseminated, especially if Judge Dinner and Judge Farino talk. There's always a lot of good information there. And that is going to be on the website also. As a matter of fact, we're being videotaped now, so you can watch yourself on video if you want to go to the website and see this. They actually went around. Thank you, Adrian, for doing it. Adrian and his wife are on. They interviewed Diane, and they interviewed the judges, and me. It was pretty neat. They actually interviewed everybody. So I like that. We also created a president's book, a book that hands down to the next president, things that work, things that didn't work, names, addresses, phone numbers, that kind of thing, which is a pretty good idea. My first luncheon, I went upstairs and there was everybody in the hallway including Judge Jim and Judge Delano, the door was locked. Robert didn't tell me I had to get Nobody told me I had to unlock the door and reserve the room. That's all right. We got to do that. Anyway, we hope the book will be. Anybody can suggest anything in that book to make it better. As a matter of fact, I was talking to folks over at the Lutheran Fund. They're going to make it electronic, spreadsheets and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to go from a 3-ring binder to something out of a big hand. Other accomplishments. Paul Giordano, our illustrious Secretary Vice President-elect. He's also the President of the BLESS program. And he managed to squeeze out a $1,000 donation from this group. The same size donation that Tampa and Orlando did. Not bad for a small organization like ours. I don't know if this qualifies as an accomplishment or not, but we did manage to keep just one judge for the whole year. Thank you, Judge Delano. Thank you. One of the highlights of the accomplishments that we've done this year is we have a website. Brian's done a really good work. It contains district news, announcements, new cases, attorney's directory, a calendar, an active forum for the discussion between the members, and of course we'll have the CLE videos. And it's just absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much, Brian. Great job, and I appreciate you doing it. We also added a short summary after each luncheon of things that went on, what was talked about, a little bit about what cases were discussed. I would hope that would keep going, but it would probably be on the website instead of just being blasted out there. So we're really trying to get everybody to use the website. And Brian's got a way to check the numbers that are clicking on it, and it's growing every day, so it's becoming very popular. We also hosted Judge Dinner's State of the District this year, and we will again later on this year, as I understand it. Check the website for the calendar to see what day it is. I'm not going to kill you. We were very well represented in Judge Chapel's investiture by Diane Jensen and Richard Johnson. Thank you for representing us. We appreciate it. It's been a good year despite the business being down and all that. Thank you very much, folks. Finally, I'd like to thank my wife, Linda. I forgot to thank you. I'm going to thank my wife. I'm making up for it. And my legal assistant, Sarah, for all their hard work in making last year's dinner a success, and for all their hard work in making things go smoothly with the meetings, the CLEs, the emails that went out. Without these guys, everyone would be home. They just handle all the heavy work, and I did all the glory. I love it. Now there's somebody else I want to thank. All the people that helped me, like Robert Elvideli. Where is he? He's here tonight? There he is. Good. Stephen Willis. I know he's not here tonight, but he spoke with us twice. Brian did luncheon for us. Gregory Shambo, everybody knows that. Paul Giordano. Joy Augustine, and Reed Kelly State Services. Thank you very much. It was one of the best ones. Diane Jensen, Robert Tardif, and Luis Rivera did a panel. It was great. It needed another hour. And then, of course, the Honorable Baroness Gentleman and the Honorable Farley assisted us greatly when they spoke. And lastly, I'd like to thank all of you for allowing me the honor of serving as your president this past year. And this will be a really good time to turn over the event for tonight to the incoming president, Dave Feynman. So that's where I go.
Well, I know that we got football on tonight, so some people
evening, folks. Last year I was the outgoing president, and I was in charge of recognizing the members of our judiciary and dignitaries that were in attendance. And I thought I was knocking it out of the park until Judge Shermer told me that I did not recognize Judge Delano. It was right at the first day of the For the record, it was in my notes. I just forgot. And for the record, she did not hold it against me. Thank you. Or at least as I know. So thank you, David, for giving me the opportunity of the shot of redemption. And giving me one and only person to focus on lessens the chance that I'll repeat that error. As a member of the local bar, I welcome the fact that we were going to have our own presiding judge again. Judge Delano brought back the stability that we enjoyed for many years under Judge Paskay. Yesterday I attended a video teleconference that included many judges from throughout the Middle District talking to Congress folks about the devastating impacts of the budget cuts. And Judge McEwen actually indicated during that presentation that Judge Delano presides over a caseload that exceeds 11,000 cases, open cases, including adversaries, which actually exceeds Tampa, I believe, in terms of average caseload. I'm quite certain, although Chuck's still going to play, confirm it probably exceeds many of the caseloads of many of the bankruptcy judges throughout the nation. Judge Delano received a BA degree from the University of South Florida in 1976. Go Bulls. She attended Indiana University School of Law, Indianapolis, and Emory University School of Law, receiving her JD degree in 1979. And after graduating, she moved to Los Angeles, California for 14 years and practiced in the areas of bankruptcy and commercial litigation. In 1994, Judge Delano returned to her hometown, Tampa, and practiced most recently with the law firm of Addison and Delano, PA. And on June 25th, 2008, Judge Delano was appointed United States bankruptcy judge for the Middle District of Florida and the Tampa Division. She agreed and was appointed as presiding judge in Fort Myers Division in 2012, and she also serves as the liaison judge for the local rules committee since 2011. Judge Delano is an executive director of the J. Clifford Cheatwood Court in Tampa. She's a member of the Florida Bar and the State Bar of California. She's a member of the Florida Court Practice Committee in the Business Law section of the Florida Bar. She makes American Bankruptcy Institute in the Florida Federal Bar Association, the Hillsborough Bar County Bar Association, and the Tampa Bay Bankruptcy Bar Association. We do a lot of things. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my privilege to give you and present to you the Honorable Harold E. Delano.
Fort Myers caseload. I like to tell my colleagues that everything is going just great. Then I tell them, of course, if it's not, I'll be the last person to hear it. Seriously, I really enjoy my trips to Fort Myers and the wide variety of cases that are filed here. Over the past year, I have continued to be impressed by the professionalism and collegiality of the Fort Myers Bankruptcy Bar. As a voluntary bar association, the SWFBPA is second to none. With an absolute minimum of infrastructure, the bar provides monthly continuing education programs, which are now being videotaped, and as I understand it, are available on YouTube. And if you haven't checked out the new website, you really need to do it. It is incredibly impressive. It's great. Our Tampa Fort Myers Deputy Clerk, Chuck Kilcoyne, is also here tonight. If any of you have any suggestions or concerns regarding procedures or scheduling, please feel free to contact Chuck. Chuck can be trusted to tactfully and possibly even anonymously tell me if there are any issues or convey suggestions to me. Paula Luce, my Fort Myers courtroom deputy, is also here. Paula is the soul of discretion. If you have any issues, you can always tell them to Paula. There is one person that I would like to specially recognize tonight, and that is Sissy Scarrow. Sissy has been with the court for the past 8 years. In our court system's terminology, Sissy was a career clerk for Judge Paskay. When Judge Paskay was no longer able to travel to Fort Myers, we were able to retain Sissy as what we call a temporary law clerk, and she's been in that position for the past 3 years. Sissy's term with the court is now concluded, and I want to thank her for her years of service and her dedication to the court and to the Fort Myers Division. Sissy was really the chief cook and bottle washer for Judge Paskay, as well as for Judge Adams, Judge Hopkins, and Judge Shermer. During those years of transition, she provided stability and continuity for both the bar and for the judges. Sissy has been an incredible help to me, and I appreciate all of her hard work. I know that you will all join me in thanking Sissy for her service and wish her every success in the future. So,
Thank you for being here. And Bar, thanks for inviting me back. And, for some reason I missed last year's dinner. I don't know why, but at least it's not raining today. No, it's raining when I come down for some reason. But, you know, I'll be real brief. I mean, as you all know, the filings in the Fort Myers Division are down. They're down throughout the entire district. And we have some staffing issues and some staffing cutbacks. Judge Lego's team now, we call it Judge Lego's team, not the Fort Myers team. Judge Lego's in charge of Fort Myers. You know, we're down to 5 case managers per team. A few years ago, I had 10 case managers per team. So, and I know some of you are happy with some of the noticing that we placed on you and things like that, but we'll stay reasonably current, I think, and we'll hope to do a good job for you. But please understand we're going through some issues as well. Staffing and then volume. You know, our staffing numbers are based on historical data, so we bankruptcy cases pick up. It's going to take us a year or so to increase staff. So please bear with us. You guys have been doing a great job on the new service requirements, following recruitment services on time. We appreciate that. Everybody's using the model chapter 13 plan. As you know, it's now going out to 341 meeting notice in Tampa and Fort Myers. If you don't follow, you don't buy your plan with the petition, you got to show it yourself. So distribution market is a better attorney to make sure you get your plan together when you file your case. But please bear with us. We have a website too, so look at ours. For instance, there's a note on it today. These camps will be down Sunday morning from I forget what it said. So look at it. There's a lot of analysis on there. Robert Vaughn and his staff did a great job. When Chief Judge Gentleman, her administrative staff, the Chief Judge sends me emails to send out to the district. I send them to the bar president, and Bob does a good job of getting those out to everybody. So read them, okay? I don't know where they go when you're wrong, but read them. It's very important. We try to give as much notice as we can on certain things, but just keep reading. Pay attention to the website. Other than that, if anyone wants to talk to me later about all the stuff that we're imposing upon you as practicing attorneys, feel free to be back in the corner back there. Have a good evening. Thank you very much. Thank you, David.
Okay. Our next speaker is Judge Gentleman. She's been the bankruptcy judge in the District of Florida, I believe, for the past year, some months. Sorry, I don't have the date there, but she was appointed to the bench in 1993 and began her practice at a firm, Smith, Hussey, and Boucher in Jacksonville. After that, she became a partner at Mahoney Adams Chrysler, which is also in Jacksonville, where she specialized in bankruptcy law and obviously parlayed that into a judgeship, where she served in 1993. We don't get a lot of experience with Judge Gentleman down here in Fort Myers and practice before her, but she does come down to visit us at least once a year, which we appreciate greatly. And that's as part of her campaign to unify the district. I think she's doing an absolutely incredible job, especially with that quarterly newsletter, which is not only informative, but also helps bring us good information regarding what the district's doing, as well as issues surrounding various matters, which we can submit articles to. So as part of my presidency, I'm going to ask that some members maybe submit some information or some articles that may go into that quarterly newsletter so that we can help support Judge Gentleman's goal. On the side note, I did happen to catch American Greed the other night, and I saw one on Luke Pearl, and it brought one of Judge Gentleman's cases to light for me. But it was very interesting, especially having just seen Judge Gentleman and Judge Chappell, the messenger, shortly after that. So, without further ado, I'm going to bring Judge Gentleman up to address everybody.
The privilege is mine to be here tonight. I try to come down twice a year, actually, and I am privileged to be here because of all the bars in our district. This is the bar that has been the easiest, the most cooperative, the most informative. It does monthly CLEs. There is no other bar other than this bar that has accomplished as much as you have. And when I look out and see the size of you guys and the collegiality of you, I know what an incredible place this has been. And I'm so glad that my dear friend, Colonel Delano, is down here with you. When I came on board 2 years ago in October, I realized that the cycle of rotating judges was a problem. And I didn't know what to do. And I worked with the best colleagues in the world. And together we crafted a solution. And really with the volunteer, actually we had several volunteers, if you want to be true. We had several volunteers because everyone knows this is a good place to be. And Judge Delano had the most impressive presentation. And so she is the one that actually inherited the beauty of this bar. And I have to say that and you do it with legality and you incorporate people from the eastern side of the state and make them civil. And for that, we thank you very, very much. We encourage civility, we encourage regionality. We are thinking this is why we are going to work together. And we really need you, and I'm so glad that it's gone as well. This is just about exactly 1 year anniversary of Judge Leno getting the whole docket. I don't think you're going to get rid of her anytime soon, best as I can tell. So I think we found a system that works. I hope it works for you. I know the islands are down. I know we have encountered a lot of financial difficulties. We will continue to face those financial difficulties. We will continue to ask more of you. We are doing more than we used to ask of our staff. That is the reality of today's financial situation. I don't know if 2 weeks from now we'll still be open for business. But on the positive side, I do know that our court and our court family is going to do whatever it takes to deliver the best service that we can to this court as quickly, as efficiently, and with the right degree of respect. And that's what you give back to us. So I appreciate that incredibly. And I want to thank you for having me here. When I was here for the first time a couple of years ago, I knew maybe 10% of you. I think last year I knew maybe 25 or 30% of you. And I hope by tonight I know 50 or so of you. And hopefully by next year I'll know every single one. I want you to always feel free to contribute anything that you can in terms of suggestions to our surveys, to our court connection, to any suggestions that you have. You're welcome to email me or let me know if you have an idea. This is my whole agenda is to listen to the bar, to communicate with the bar, to talk to my colleagues, and to do this in a collegial, collaborative way. And so I hope that if you have an idea, please share it and let me know. So please do that. I am very glad that I am here today also to echo Judge Delano's comments on recognizing Sissy Skipper's contribution both to our court and to this bar. Sissy has been an amazing presence in the Fort Myers. She has been, prior to Judge Delano, the stability that transitioned from Judge Paskay on his declining years and days to the cycle of judges that we went through. For those many years, Sissy really was the representative from the court. And I cannot thank her enough for her efforts and her work, her relationships with you, and she deserves so many of our accolades and applause. So tonight I would just like to end my comments by thanking Sissy for her hard work. So thank you, Sissy.
Next part of the evening, as Andy presented by Ms. Diane Jensen.
This year's recipient of the Alexander L. Paskay Professionals Award truly exemplifies all awards criteria. He is effective in his presentation of his cases to the bankruptcy court. He is always well prepared and courteous when dealing with the court and with his fellow attorneys. He exhibits ethical conduct and professionalism at the highest level. As a past president of the Southwest Florida Bankruptcy Professionals Association and presenter of numerous programs to our organization, he has given long-time service to our organization. He has also volunteered in the courtroom to assist pro se litigants on a pro bono basis. This outstanding attorney is a well-known Gator of distinction, having graduated from the practiced law in Tallahassee and Boca Raton before settling in Fort Myers approximately 20 years ago. He still shows his Gator colors on the weekends as Mr. Orange and Blue. It gives me great and professional and personal pleasure to present this year's Alexander L. Paskay Professionalism Award to our colleague and friend, Richard Johnston.
I didn't know I'd be part of a bar that dealt with barking sharks, lions and tigers and bears, oh my. A man named Nate that could fraudulently transfer anything. Half the bar here knows it. I never thought I'd have the excitement and the interest and the intellectual stimulation every day that I do. And I get to practice with you. And that makes this very special.
Okay, tonight we're recognizing two very special people for very special things that they did, not only just this year, but throughout their careers. Mr. Vaughn is the outgoing president of the Appropriate to come present those two awards.
Come on, Robert, I'm with you. Let's go.
Okay. Ryan's gonna come up here, please. Yeah. As everybody knows, Ryan has worked. The distinguishing factor of this year's progress, it really is. It is a wonderful thing. I am so happy to award this to you, and thank you very much from all of us for a great, great job.
I didn't expect this at all. I have nothing to say. So, thank you very much. I'll continue to work on the website for everybody. And the other judges have seen that this is such a great bar. I really enjoy working with everybody. Thank you.
But we are losing Sissy this time. Last year, we gave her a service award because we were losing her to the Fort Myers Bar School in Tampa Anymore. But this time, we're losing her for good, so the bar got together and brought you this. In appreciation for years of service to the court and the Fort Myers Bar, Sissy Skipper.
what I always pride myself. Y'all can accept Judge Lynn. She's a wonderful person. Judge Lynn has done a wonderful job of making things a lot easier for a lot of people, whether you live out there or not. I miss y'all as well. Thank you all.
Judge Delaney. She's well prepared to do this. She's been studying. Judge Delaney, can you come up and swear in? Here we go. David Simon is the incoming president. Denise Rivera, the secretary.
Of the SWFBPA.
Mr. Vaughn has an incredible presence. Under his leadership, we now have a fully functional website, thanks to Brian Tin for creating things. We have our continued CLB credits. We have helped me, my CLBs, current when I needed them. And for all your efforts this year, I know it was a struggle. I know many times you were doing things on your own, and I'm just Ricky Brown did a great job. This is appreciation for your service. This year I intend to continue the efforts that Mr. Vaughn did. Again, I have a lot to live up to. I look forward to the challenge. I hope the bar is going to be much more active with the events that we try to do, community events that I have goals to get out there, educate the public on various economic issues. I know Mr. Holler has a program that he tried to bring to light, I believe it was last year or the year prior, that I thought was a very good program where you can go in and teach young adults about the use of credit, the dangers of the use of credit, things of that nature. There's a whole slideshow program that a organization puts out and trains attorneys and other business individuals how to educate the youth of America so that they can be much more effective. I like that program. I like educating the youth, so I think we should really make the effort. We did a great job this year raising money for the bar. We have, I believe, up to $4,100 in sponsorship this year, so we're doing an incredible job with our members. We have a lot of money that we need to try to find good uses for. So I think part of our agenda this year is to find uses for that money, put it to good use, grow the bar, and grow our new family with the village of Florida and the other ports. So with that, the dinner is going to be served soon. And we'll just adjourn the presentation so you can enjoy your steak, fish, or chicken. Thank you very much for coming. Bob did. I'd like to thank the people that helped me this year put this dinner on. I would not have been able to do it without their assistance. We probably would end up in our office with Publix platters and fruit punch. But I'd like to have Ms. Worthy stand up, and Kelsey Marshall. The program guides, the little mints, the table decorations, putting the sign up, it's all on them. I cannot take any credit for tonight's festivities and how it turned out. And it turned out really great. Thank you to you, Rebecca.
Gentlemen, how are you doing this evening?
I'm very well. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. We have a few questions for you. We understand that you're the chief bankruptcy judge, And we'd like to know, what are the biggest challenges that you face in coordinating everything and in your everyday tasks?
It is stopping colleagues from leaving too soon before they don't have to be interviewed. This is the district judge in Fort Myers, right?
Yes.
Chase Steele. So we'll get interviewed together since I got stopped on this way out. My challenges are making all my colleagues look good. That's probably yours, right?
No, I don't have that challenge. All my colleagues look good.
They already look good enough, obviously. Anyway,
I gotta go.
I know. Bye.
Bye-bye.
And actually, my husband is waiting in the parking lot, so I don't have much time.
Okay, well, thank you so much for your comments. Have a nice evening.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Good night. We wanted to thank you on behalf of the Bankruptcy Bar for the wonderful website that you made this year. And we were wondering, do you have any other things that you're planning on doing with the website or anything new in the works?
Well, we're probably going to put this video on the website. And I'm hoping to get the forum going where people can post questions and answers and basically get the bar going in terms of a discussion, because there are so many times where we're in court and someone will ask someone else a question and they don't know the answer to it. But if you get 70 or 80 people looking at the question, someone's bound to have an answer.
You designed the content yourself?
Yeah, yeah.
I was reading the other day that it's quote from The Office.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so that's about it. If anybody wants to send me anything to put on it, I'd be happy to do that. So.
Well, thank you so much. The website's incredible. Thanks.
Thanks.
I'm wonderful. Wonderful.
So I have a few questions.
What's that?
Yes. I will tell you, coming into the court being unprepared, and by that I mean coming in not having your exhibits prepared with exhibit tags, appropriate number of copies for the court, for the judge, and for the opposing counsel. Those are some of the pitfalls that that's really it that I find. But other than that, you guys are doing a great job.
And what's your background?
My background with the bankruptcy court is I have been, as courtroom deputy, I've been with the courts for a little over a year, working for Judge Delano. I have been administrative assistant for Chuck Kilcoyne, the deputy in charge, for 20 years. I've worked for the chief judge, Paul M. Glenn, for a year and a half. And so that gives me about 22 years with the federal courts and the bankruptcy court.
What's the most stressful part of your job?
That is hard to say, other than just keeping it flowing, and that's really it. I really don't think that there's anything stressful.
Is Fort Myers better worked out at Fort Myers than Tampa?
I honestly, I really couldn't compare because I haven't had to be in the courtroom in Tampa. So I've only experienced Fort Myers, and everything flows pretty well in Fort Myers. Everybody does a good job.
And you said that you were splitting your time for federal court and bankruptcy
Yes,
court.
yes, yes.
Is that permanent, or are you going to transition into just doing that?
I actually split my time equally between the district court and the bankruptcy court. It's something that's becoming prevalent amongst the administrative office of the U.S. courts. It's a shared position. It's a shared position, yes. And it's to save the taxpayers money. It's a shared position. So I'm fortunate to be in the position. Thank you so much.